Your realist dietitian here, Mr. Clean Bite. So today is my last day of 40 days fasting, which I started on the 18th of February 2026. And I did 30 days, but also decided to go 10 days extra just because I just felt like it. And during that period, I decided to do a 5-day just water fast with no food. When I decided to do the 5 days, I realized perhaps that could be a little bit too long. So I decided to do 3.5 days of water fast, strictly water fast. And I'm going to put all the results here from the very first day to the very last day of doing that water fast, and also maybe the last day of my 40-day fast as well. So you can just see the changes in my body. But I'm just going to quickly talk about certain protocols and why we should do it or should not do it. Water fast is basically a fast where you stop taking in carbohydrate. In other words, you can even do the fast without going for days without eating. You could have, lean protein and vegetables, which in other words is called keto diet. By the way, this video is not to encourage fasting because there are no concrete evidence out there to the benefits. However, there are benefits to them, which I will be listing. And if you look to embark on such a fast, please speak to your physician, please speak to your doctor so that they can encourage accordingly, because there's so much that involves fasting and also reintroducing food. Because if you don't do it correctly, that can cause so much health complications, such as the risk of refeeding syndrome, which can cause sudden effect on the heart. And so make sure you're doing it correctly. But I'll also put down the protocol towards the end of this video so that you can screenshot and be well informed about what to do and what not to. So first, there are evidence that suggests that when you fast, or when you commence on water fast, where there's restriction in carbohydrate, you can replenish your cells. So there's something called autophagy. There's something called that, which is basically replenishing your cells, but not enough evidence, to show how long that can go on for. However, I personally think that changes do occur, where damaged cells have been replenished. So basically those are cleaned away and the new cells have been developed. But there's evidence to show that, that does happen. For how long, we don't know. There's also evidence to say mitochondria, actually, which is basically oxygen, gets increased a little bit during that period. So yes, there are evidence to say there's goodies from it. For how long, we do not know. And this is the reason why I think even if you decide to do it, make sure you're doing it for a very limited time, but there should be protocol before, during, and after. Because if you don't, then you will be at risk of refeeding. Yes, you'll be at risk of refeeding. And there are better ways to do it without just cutting out food completely. Okay, you can also utilize, just reducing carbohydrate. Please speak to your physician and doctor. Okay, so my own protocol based on my own experience, this is just for information purposes, was what did I do? 5 days prior, I started reducing my because I was already fasting, so I was already in a huge amount of deficit anyway. So, but then I started reducing my carbohydrate intake during my fast, what the Muslims will call iftar. So during that period, I would just reduce my carbohydrate. So I started reducing my carbohydrate intake slowly, leading to that point, and then on the very first the night before, I made sure I ate my last meal at like 8-9 p.m. and then fasting carried on the following day, and I fasted up until last Friday. Yep, last Friday, I think the 27th. Yeah, yes, there was 28th. The 27th was the day I started on Tuesday. I started my water fast on Tuesday, ended on Friday. So Tuesday morning I started, and then on Friday evening was when I had my very first meal. My first meal was very small, almost like a quarter of my total caloric intake, just because I don't want to reintroduce my entire caloric intake when I've been depleted in electrolytes, which can cause, like I said, certain complications. So what I did is I had a small amount, and then the following day, but carrying on the water fast because my water fast was going to totally end today, which is Sunday. So I carried on with it, and on Saturday I did not eat anything in the morning. I went all day, but then I was drinking coconut water. I had salted water in the morning, and then drank coconut water all day, and then had my first meal in the evening. As a matter of fact, it wasn't a first meal; it was like some peanuts, because we were away on a business trip with my business partner, and then when we came back, that was when I had a meal, which was superbly late. I'm talking about like almost 12ish was when I had my first meal, which was not the right thing to do, by the way. So make sure you're well prepared. But again, life does happen. But yeah, I had my first meal super late, and then today again, today being Sunday and the very last day of my water fast, I've just been drinking herbal tea, water, salted water first thing in the morning, of course, and coconut water. So I'm about to have my first meal now, just because I really wanted to do this video first. So yeah, it's been a fantastic journey. So I'll put all the physiological results or benefits here, all around here. But I will say, 5 days prior to the fasting, make sure you're reducing your caloric intake. Make sure you're eating or drinking electrolyte rich or electrolyte dense foods or drinks, such as fruits and vegetables, leafy greens, your kiwis, your bananas, things like this. You want to make sure you're having them heavily leading to the very first day of your fasting. And during your fasting, you want to make sure you're having some sea salt water first thing in the morning, just to help you with that replenishment of sodium, just to get that little bit of electrolyte in. And pay attention to yourself throughout. Make sure you stay hydrated the right way. I was drinking herbal tea throughout the day and drinking a lot of coconut water. So just pay attention to yourself, how you're feeling, how your body is changing, how your body is reacting to it. If there's any concerns, please pull out of it immediately, and also go speak to the right person, the right health professional. So do that during. What else am I forgetting that I was doing? Stay away from exercising. Stay away from exercising. Do not cause more muscle wastage. Stay away from exercising or limit your physical activity, because you're depleted in nutrients anyway. You're depleted in electrolytes and other nutrients that if you were to carry out physical activity, you will cause further damage to yourself, if not injury, and even possibly a lot of health complications. So stay away from it. And then during as well, I will say take out time to reflect. Take out time to just reflect on life as a whole, and just, re-strategize on things. Because to be fair, I felt a bit more clarity. The very first day was hard. Second day felt superbly easier. And then I woke up one day, I think it was the second day, I woke up with like a slight headache, but as soon as I drank my sea salt water, I felt better. I also monitor your blood pressure as well. I was monitoring my blood pressure as well. Actually, I monitored my blood pressure once, and I was expecting it to be superbly low. It was low. I was expecting it to be superbly low, but it was normal. My pulse was normal, my blood pressure was normal. So make sure you keep an eye on that as well, because that can drop rapidly. Okay. And then afterwards, make sure you start reintroducing food gradually. You don't want to be eating everything in one go. Like I said to you initially, I just started reintroducing food very slowly every single day. I've been increasing it every single day since Friday. So make sure you increase it every single day, not to your full calorie. I'll probably reach my full calories by maybe Wednesday, Thursday, because I'm really taking my time to reintroduce these calories very slowly, because I don't want to mess with refeeding syndrome. That's a dangerous health problem. So be mindful and careful. So yeah, that's what I will say. And then my training, I'm probably gonna start. I started doing push-ups slowly yesterday, so I'm gonna get back into training again, hopefully by Wednesday, Thursday. I feel like going tomorrow, but I don't know. So yeah, that's the protocol which I'm gonna leave in this video. So feel free to screenshot it and use it as information purposes, and of course go out there and seek advice from physician or doctors before you commence at any sort of fasting. Okay, and if you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a message, comment, so that I can respond to you guys when I can. I hope this video is helpful, and I hope this video is very informative for someone out there to either take and make a decision and go out and speak to their healthcare professional before they commence on it. So yeah, once again, I'm your realist dietitian, Mr. Clean Bite, and I hope to see you guys soon. Peace.